Hi everyone, I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. I am a soul therapist and an intuitive that connects with the angelic energy. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what to expect out of, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, out of this week's energy and how you can make the most of it. So this is meant to be a tool so that you can understand what you're feeling and how you can use this energy so that you can best navigate the week. How are you guys feeling? First of all, let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling. I have been feeling this boiling up energy. And I think that especially last night, I was really feeling that, like things were coming to a head in a lot of ways. And things are coming to a boiling point where people are finding themselves feeling overwhelmed with emotion, with maybe with stress, maybe with anger, maybe with simply feeling overwhelmed, but there's just this buildup that's been happening. There's been a lot going on. We've talked about how there's been a lot of things that are being shaken up in our world, that are being shaken up, just like I got the image when I first connected with this of a snow globe, right? And it was like being shaken up so that we can address it, so that we can see it, so that we can clear it, so we can heal it. And so there's so much that's happening. And also, if we think about that, like a lot of moving parts, right? Like that snow globe, things being stirred up so that things can fall into place. Things can fall where they're supposed to be, where they're meant to be, where they need to be. And there's so much of that that's been happening, that is happening. It can feel a little off-putting, it can feel overwhelming, it can feel difficult. But I also think like if we're really choosing to tune into the energy, it can feel really exciting as well, because we're still in this expansive energy. We have no planets in retrograde, I believe, until April, right? So there's an energy of moving forward, of movement. And I think a lot of this movement and this expansion is actually us setting ourselves free from so many things, us dealing with these things that are coming up for us in an attempt to heal them, release them, let them go, whatever it is that needs to happen with them, or even to address them. Because I feel like in this energy, there's this call to figure out, okay, like what do I need to do with this? Or how can I use this? I've been talking about how, to me, this year feels like the year of alchemy, where there's going to be this call to take things that are happening and turn them into something incredible. Turn them into gold, essentially, right? So even where we're not loving the way that this energy is showing up, can we take a step back and ask ourselves, what can I do with this, right? How can I use this? What can I do with this? So I'll give a personal example. For me, I've had these, because there's a lot of old stuff that's coming back up. So I've noticed I've had a lot of like old financial, money related stuff that's coming up for me. And it's very clearly coming up to give me an opportunity to figure out, okay, how do I want to approach this differently so that this isn't something that comes up for me in the future? What action steps do I need to take? How do I need to approach this differently? How can I use what's coming up to help me, to set me up to be in a better position moving forward? And so it's really, the circumstances have really forced me to take a look at that and to make some adjustments and to make some changes. So where are we needing to make some adjustments and changes? How can we use what's showing up for us to make ourselves better, to make our lives better, to make our experiences better? It's a really powerful time. We're doing a lot of really deep subconscious work right now. And so with that, you might find that there's things floating to the surface. There's things that are coming up for you that maybe are even way, way back in the past. Maybe are even childhood stuff or just old stuff. And again, it's this opportunity for this deep subconscious healing. It might even be stuff that you weren't aware of was your stuff. Maybe triggers that you didn't know that you had, or just things that you're finding yourself bothered by or processing or thinking about that either you haven't thought about in quite some time, or you've never thought about, you've never processed, you've never been aware that it was even an issue that you were needing to deal with it. So you might be surprised by what's coming up. But again, it's this opportunity to give us some way to use it, change it, shift it, heal it, do something with it. So I hope that that is helpful in terms of what we're dealing with. I feel like there's a frustration, right? Like this is I'll be curious what comes up in the cards when we get to the card section of this reading, but it's a very Seven of Pentacles, especially Seven of Pentacles in reverse kind of energy, where it's like there is a frustration with the pace at which things are happening or the way that things are happening. But the thing about the Seven of Pentacles is we do need to be aware that, number one, some of the best things in life are worth the wait, but number two, it's okay for things to be slow and steady, because, if we got everything that we're manifesting right away, would we truly be ready for those things? I feel like there's a preparation, we're working on that level of readiness so that we can truly receive all of the things that we want to receive when it's time. But when I connected with this energy, I heard you haven't gone everywhere that you're meant to go yet. And part of what we're being called to do is to keep our hearts and our minds open to the possibilities, while also at the same time finding a way to thrive exactly where we are. I said that last week, that came up crystal clear again this week. How do I find a way, even if I'm frustrated with the progress, even if it's not moving at the rate that I want it to or in the way that I want it to, how can I find a way to thrive exactly where I am? To find gratitude, to find peace, to find joy, to find balance exactly where I am. That's going to be really key, because if we can do that, it feels literally like a key that unlocks something for us, that unlocks that next level of stuff. But we have to find the peace and joy isn't going to come on the other side of that. It is going to come because we've chosen to tune into the peace and the joy and the thriving that is available to us now, if we choose to tune into it. It's kind of like adjusting our dial to be able to connect with those things. It might not be exactly what we want it to be. In fact, it's probably pretty far removed from exactly what we want it to be. But can we find a way, anyway, to connect with that peace and that joy and that sense of thriving, that sense of well-being right here and now? And part of that process, part of what I heard when I was connecting with this energy, is to seek respite as needed. I've been talking about, we've been working through a period of recovery, and I think that we're still needing that, right? Where do I need respite, and what does that respite look like for me? And how can I honor that? How can I use that to balance me in the challenges that are coming up for me? The other part of that is what I was connecting with is, how do I honor the divinity that already exists within me? How do I start to recognize that? How do I honor that? How do I connect with that, right? How do I honor that spark of God, that spark of the divine, the spark of the universe that exists within me? How do I honor that now, right? Because that is nothing that is measurable through the ways that we human beings tend to measure, right? How do we measure our light, right? And we can measure that through how we're feeling, through if we're thriving, through the level of peace and joy that we're connecting with. But chances are some of the ways that you're measuring that, maybe through, I give money as an example, through money or having a specific relationship or having a specific thing, it's never going to provide that, ever. That's not what it's about. And these things can enhance our lives. But at the end of the day, we have to keep coming back to that God spark, that God connection, that source, right? So taking that time to honor that, to foster that light within us, doing things like meditation. And you guys know me at this point, like I don't teach meditation in the traditional form. I also encourage people to honor whatever meditation looks like for you. What can you get lost in? Is going for a walk a form of meditation? Is creation of some kind of form of meditation? Is working on something a form of meditation? Is simply sitting by a body of water meditation? Is touching a tree, going for a hike, going for a walk a form of meditation? There's so many different ways that we connect to our source, to our spirit. Maybe it's just having a conversation with God, with your higher power, and inviting that in. Maybe it's a prayer to say, you know what, I am choosing to let you in. I am choosing to invite you into my life to lead me and to show me what's important and what the best path is for me based on what you see for me. That's really important right now, that we're inviting that in, so that we are maybe feeling less frustrated with the way that things are developing. And because I think that this is a surprising energy. I think that things are happening in ways that are very different from how we expected, but that doesn't make them any less amazing. In fact, I think that ultimately where we'll find ourselves is in a way more always amazing place if we let ourselves be led down this path. I also want to acknowledge that I feel like there's a lot of second chance energy right now. So second chances for new beginnings, second chances to do something differently, better, to keep coming at it. I do feel like we need to keep coming at it because we haven't gone everywhere that we're meant to go yet. But we sure as hell have come a long way. We sure as hell have traveled on this journey and experienced things. And I think that that's also important. Like, how far have you come that you haven't acknowledged? Can we reflect? Can we hold gratitude for that? I think that's a piece of finding a way to thrive exactly where we are, is to acknowledge how many things we have now that we didn't have a couple of years ago, even a year ago, maybe even a month ago, who knows? So much shifting and changing that's happening right now. I also feel here in this energy, I'll start to pull some cards, but I feel here in this energy that we might be getting these glimpses into the future. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means for you, because that's going to look different for everybody, but you might even just get like a feeling like, oh, I feel like I'm getting a peek into like where my future is going, into what is happening, into what's transitioning for me. Because there is a lot of transformation, there's a lot of transitioning, there's a lot of call to allow change, to allow shifting, to allow ourselves to be led down paths that look different than maybe what we have been anticipating. And maybe we're revisiting some paths that we started to travel down before with the second chance energy, but never really got to travel down that path, got to explore that, got to see where that was going. Wow, this is a little bit of an indecisive card reading. The cards aren't wanting to come out for me right now. Let's see where we're going with this. How are you guys feeling? Let me know how you're feeling. Say hi. If you guys are watching on my YouTube, please subscribe. It helps to support the channel. You guys have been amazing with that lately. I had this weird slowdown with things, and now things are picking up, but that's because of you guys, because you guys are so amazing and supportive and answering the call. I like to make sure that these messages get delivered to whoever they're meant to get delivered to. So make sure that you're liking this, commenting, sharing, tagging, whatever you feel called to do. Just some form of energy exchange is always appreciated. Like I said, it helps to get these messages where they need to be. Okay. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Cups. Wish fulfillment, success, feeling like we've accomplished something. I'll be curious if that comes up as I pull these last couple of cards. But definitely that's part of the message. And maybe that's like, it feels as though that's a little bit further out there, but we're moving. There is an expansion happening for us. Have you guys started to feel reconnected to your inspiration yet? Because that was a tough one. I was feeling so uninspired for so long. Oh, here we go. Yep. So if you're not, that's definitely coming in. I was saying it was coming in, as we were wrapping up last week, but definitely we're moving into more inspired energy. We're building more and more. First card out, Death card, Metamorphosis. Let it change, let it shift. Get out of the way is what I feel like I need to say. Get out of the way and let what wants to come to a close or what wants to transform, because it doesn't have to be about a closing. It can be about a transformation. What wants to change? What wants to be tweaked in your life to be a little bit different or a lot different, but where it's being tweaked, like this leads to massive shifts, massive change, massive transformation in your life. So allow yourself to flow with it. Allow yourself to be led with it, right? 9 of Wands. We've been through a lot. This is my wounded warrior. This is still a warrior though, right? Somebody who continues to get back up again and again and again and is ready for whatever is coming our way. And I'm hearing in my head, like, that's by design. That's by design. So what I mean by that is it was meant to happen that way so that we can handle whatever is coming our way, right? Like, we've done a lot of the hard stuff at this point. It's just a matter of trusting now that we haven't gone everywhere that we're meant to go yet, and that we keep getting back up, and that we keep trusting in it. And yes, like you see, he's bandaged. He's been through a lot, but that's behind him. And he's ready to stand as a warrior to take on whatever is coming his way. And I think that it's prepared us to be able to handle the manifestation of the things that we want, to be able to handle what's next, because some of these big manifestations, these great manifestations, require a lot, and they require a really solid foundation underneath them for us to be able to handle them. And they also require a lot of orchestration from the universe to get all of the parts where they need to go. I feel like there's so much divine timing that's happening now and here in this year. Speaking of timing, the world, again, some things are coming to a close. I feel like with this, it's like some hard things are coming to a close. We're allowing it. I almost get the sense, especially with this Death card too, that like we've been holding on to some things, like not allowing them to close or transform or transition into whatever is meant to be next. And so now, almost like I was saying last week, like I almost feel like we've been beaten into surrender in some ways, right? And this is the surrender. This is the willingness to say, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's next for me, but I just choose to trust because I don't see any other options. Or maybe you've done a better job at this and you're surrendering it sooner, and that's great, right? But this energy is like, all right, I've tried it my way. Now let me try it God's way. And in that moment, in that instant, there is a powerful surrender that takes us. The World card is the last card in the tarot. It takes us to a new beginning, because the card that comes after that is the beginning of the tarot. It's the Fool. It's a new beginning. It's a new journey. It's trust and faith and leaning into where we're supposed to be going. But we're making room. Queen of Swords, we're creating space. We're assessing what belongs, what doesn't, and we're choosing to let go of anything that needs to go. And again, this feels a little bit like it's come to a point where it's like, nope, I need to let this go, right? This old stuff that's coming up for me that I didn't even know that I needed to deal with, now I need to deal with it. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to do with it. I think that we're going to find that we have the clarity to do that we have, I'm getting a sense like practical, like that it's going to be very practical, like these practical ideas, these practical solutions that are coming through that will help us to get to where we need to be. And as we deal with that, we get to this place of Page of Wands, Ace of Swords, absolute inspiration, excitement, ready to take it on. Look at the way that he looks at his wand. Excited and proud and ready to just lean into this. But there's an innocence to this energy. There's a newness to this energy. It's like reconnecting with parts of ourselves that we haven't been connected to in a long time, or seeing something with a new pair of eyes. All of a sudden, something that we weren't able to, willing to pursue, experience in the past, we're now ready to explore. We're ready to follow where our adventurous spirit is wanting to lead us. And we're seeing things clearly. Ace of Swords, we're seeing things clearly, we're communicating about things clearly, or we're invited to do that if we aren't already, right? Like, as you see things clearly, what do you need to say? What do you need to do? What actions do you need to take? What do you need to cut out? What do you need to say, communicate? Where do we need to change our thoughts? Where do we need to be open? This is, definitely an energy of having a stubborn heart, but to not be so stubborn that we're not letting God, the universe, whatever that is for you, step in and show us the way. So invite that inspiration. Follow that inspiration as that comes in and let it lead you. It might look different. I've been saying this again and again. It might look different than you expected. That doesn't mean it's wrong. I think, in fact, if we just lean into this, there is a beautiful new and fresh energy that's really exciting, that makes us feel like a kid again, or makes us feel like brand new again in so many ways. And I really love this. So lots of good stuff happening. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how you guys are experiencing this energy. What parts of this resonate for you? I always love to hear that. Again, please feel free to subscribe, to like, to share, to whatever you feel called to do. I appreciate all of it. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you soon with another video. Take care.